fluorescent jacket down there. Our fluorescent jacket ends up out here. Just dumped at random. Some socks and underwear. I think it's 2 pairs of underwear actually. And a fluorescent jacket. Random. I know there's a lot of shots of me just walking through the woods, but it's such a beautiful bit of woodland out here. I just wanted to try and capture as much of it as possible, really. In here I've found a little kind of film canister, and it's got a geocache thing in it. It's just a bit of paper with some numbers and stuff in, I guess someone has put here. I guess this is all people who have found it. I'm not going to write anything on it, but I have got a little geocache coin that I got years ago from the Survival Podcast that I'm going to put in there. It's just in a little kind of film flask with some camo tape around it. We're here. There's my pack for today. Just got the minimal stuff with me really, the tent, sleeping gear, cooking gear, that's about it, and then decent light. And I'm back. I thought it would feel strange being back out here and back on camera again, but actually it feels quite natural. But I haven't been on for a while because, I mean, loads of reasons really. It's been a busy year, been a crazy year, in good and bad ways. But for a while I didn't have a camera, and also in terms of just product reviews and that, I've pretty much got everything I need for camping and for my survival gear and that now, so I just haven't really been buying anything new to show you guys. I've had psoriasis flaring up really badly lately as well, which is something I've had trouble with for about 10 years, and it got to the point where it was so bad I had to go on medication for it, and I was having UV treatment and everything. But I got on top of it about 2 years ago, and I haven't had to use medications or anything for about 2 years now. But unfortunately a few months ago it came back with a vengeance, and I had real trouble with it. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera today, a bit red around my face, but at the minute it's mainly on my back now, but I've had it kind of everywhere flaring up. I'm back on the medication and that, and I think it is slowly working, but it seems to be taking a long time, longer than it used to before when I was on it. But yeah, just various things like that, and I've just been really busy working, and that's not the time to get out here and do overnight videos. I've been doing the odd video on some of my other channels, but they're quite quick and easy to do, but a video where I've got to commit to spending overnight, I just haven't really had the time to, or I've been too tired. So it's amazing I've got any subscribers left, but I want to try and make the most of what's left of the decent weather now before winter kicks in. There's a few places I've seen lately that I've never camped before, which look gorgeous, that I've only just come across, that I want to try out. But this spot here is pretty nice. I've been wanting to camp here for a while. And there's the old faithful Adventure Ridge tent set up I got from Aldi's back in 2015, so this will be the 4th summer I've been using it. Still holding up well. Got a bottle of water with me obviously, and a couple of other bottles in the bag as well. Got this lantern, which I'll show you later. It's a really awesome lantern. Looking forward to actually trying that out. And my cooking kit, which people who have seen my videos before are going to know what's in here, but it's just if there's anyone watching who hasn't seen any of my previous videos, I'll go through this quickly, so bear with me. But it's a Webtex pouch. Inside I've got some Hexi fuel and a Yugoslavian mess kit here, which opens up. You've got a little pot bottle of water there and your cooking pot. And then I've also got this stove. It's a little pocket stove. In this pouch you've got all these thin metal bits, and you've got a little stove there. And I've had this for about 3 years almost now, and it's still going strong, even though it's very sort of thin, weak metal that bends quite easily. I haven't had any problems with it breaking or anything so far. It's just got a bit stained, so I think it was a £5. So for the sake of £5, it's really handy. You can use different types of fuel in there. You can use a little alcohol burner in there if you've got one, or just wood and just have it as a wood burner. But this pot sits on there perfectly, so it's ideal for me. It's a pretty compact set. Got a little pocket first aid kit, a fire lighter, and some kind of wet wipes, sanitary wipes as well. Also bought just a small folding knife. I'm probably not going to need one out here, but I always like to bring one with me, of course. It's just a little angler arms one. I've shown this before as well, but it's a great little knife. Got 3 different blades on it. You've got a regular blade, you've got a saw, and you've got a fish gutting blade as well. So it's a really good little knife, very solid feeling, kind of wooden, a camouflage pattern to it. So yeah, this is all I'm going to need at most. It's handy having a little saw with me in case I need to do that. So having a kind of multi-knife that's got a regular blade and a saw blade just suits me for a quick trip like this. Now, I haven't bothered bringing my stick table or pocket stool with me because there are so many logs that have fallen here and tree stumps as well that I can easily just use one of these to sit on if I really need to. If I just clear the debris away from one like that. Another one over there. I think that's a bit more rotten, but I mean, this one here is perfect for sitting on. And I've got that great one right outside the tent there with a nice moss cushion on it. So saves me a bit of room in my pack as well. Now you may have noticed that I've got these pads on my legs. Now I've got these cheap off AliExpress. They're just sort of hard plastic. And the reason I'm wearing them is that they're really useful for just kneeling down. Because you never know if there's going to be sharp flints, because we get quite a lot of flint rock around here, sharp sticks sticking up out of the ground, but mainly for this area it's to stop the dampness. And that's the main problem I have when I'm constantly kneeling down, is that I'm making my trousers damp, which isn't particularly comfortable and it's not good for hygiene either. So just having these plastic shin guards on, just kneel down, completely protects your trousers and your legs from sharp objects and dampness, even though it might look a bit silly. I mean, no one sees you out here anyway, so it's wear what's practical and what you enjoy wearing and what's comfortable. Just a quick closer look at that knife. Regular blade. Fish cutting blade. And a saw blade. The saw blade works pretty well. I've used it before. Now, before it gets too dark, I'll just give you a look at this lantern. I know it might seem like a weird thing to say, but obviously when it's dark you're only going to see it kind of glowing with light, but you can get a better look at it here. And I love this lantern. I haven't actually used it on a camping trip yet, so this is my first time out with it. I did do a video on this last year when I got it, but I'll still give you a quick look over it now. You've got these handles here that flip up, so you can hang it up or carry it. See a light panel on each side there of LEDs, and press the button on the front here once to turn on the front and back lights, and then a second time to turn on the side lights, and it's really bright. And then if you turn them off, a really fun feature I love of this is that the sides come off here and are just regular flashlights. As well as being a regular flashlight, you can, if you want, if you press the button a second time, that panel will light up, so you can use them as 3 different light sources. If you want to illuminate your campsite from different angles, you've basically got the option here to separate these and give you a really great amount of light. Because I'm sure anyone who's been camping, and if you only take one torch with you, it can get a bit annoying and a bit frustrating if you've only got a light source coming from one direction. It just, you know, it doesn't illuminate as well as if you've got multiple light sources, but you don't want to have to carry too much around with you either. So rather than having to carry 3 or 4 flashlights around, this I find perfect for me. Is a bit big and chunky to keep in your pack, that's the only thing, because it's the size of a lantern rather than a flashlight, so it does depend. But especially if you were going out with a group of friends, this would be great, because if there's 3 of you, you can separate this into 3 for 3 different people. Now there's a USB port on the back there, so you can plug it in with the wire that comes with it to a computer, or if you've got an adapter you can plug it into the wall to charge it up. But as well as the battery that comes kind of installed in it that's chargeable, you can also unscrew the bottom here, and it takes 3 large batteries. So if you are going to be out for quite a while and you don't want to, or you're worried that the charge just from the, you know, charging it there won't last, you can take some batteries with you and possibly double the amount of life you're going to get out of it. And the side lights, when they're connected, they run off of the battery source of the main unit, but when you use them independently of the main unit, they run off of just some 3 little batteries that go in there that come with it. But I don't know how well these batteries are going to last, because they're the ones that come with it, but you can always buy some better ones, some more powerful ones to go in there. And then the last feature is a compass on the top there. How well that works I don't know, but can't hurt to have it there, I suppose. I'll put a link in the description of where I got it from, if they're still available from there, because like I say, this was about a year ago I got it. If so, I'll put that in there. Now I'm not putting these links in because it's me selling them. I've had people before say, oh, you're just trying to sell stuff. Like, I don't sell any of this stuff. I wish I did. That'd be quite cool to own a store for camping and survival gear. But no, this is just stuff that I buy and use, and you know, I get quite a few comments of people when they see me using it saying, oh, where'd you get it from, what is it? So that's why I put links now, if I remember to, in the description of where I got this stuff from, so you can, you know, look it up and see if you want to buy it or shop around or whatever for the product. Don't know if a badger's dug this hole here or what. Be great to see one, but I can't imagine I will. Do get a lot of deer running around here though, really big ones I've seen literally run straight out in front of me, but you know, by the time I'd managed to get my phone out to try and film it, they were gone, so there's no way of capturing it, unfortunately. Bought a little tin that I fill with lint from the tumble dryer, so I'll put a little bit of that in there because that lights up reasonably easily, just to help the hexi tab along. Pretty easy to light that, and then light that in there. Now to eat, I've got a couple of these little tins. They're quite handy, they're only like 50p each. Sausages and beans and sausages and spaghetti. I think I fancy spaghetti because I have sausages and beans all the time at home, just as a quick snack after the gym, so a bit of variety. Now just to heat that spaghetti up, has barely used any of that hexi block, so once that's cooled down I'll put it back in the pack and I can reuse that later. They're not that difficult to blow out if you blow hard on them. Now I know it might seem lazy just bringing a couple of tins out here rather than cooking something more elaborate, but it's so fuel efficient to do that, because it barely took a minute to warm up the spaghetti, enough for me to eat it. and as I showed you, it barely used any of the Hexi tab either. So I mean, you could get quite a few meals out of that Hexi tab just cooking like this. Now, I don't know if I've shown this before, but this is a pillow I've brought with me today. It's basically just a regular sized pillow that I took an old one, cut it in half, and then sewed the end shut so I could use it for camping. Because I always used to bring those inflatable pillows because they obviously don't take up hardly any space in your pack, but I just don't get on with them. They're so uncomfortable. So even though this doesn't pack up particularly small, and it does take up quite a bit of room in my pack, it's worth it for a decent night's sleep. So like I say, if you've got any old pillows laying around you don't want anymore, cut them in half, sew them up at the ends, and you can have a couple of little camping pillows. See, I've got two of the lights on from that lantern I showed you earlier, and it's giving a great light for the camera. So I forgot to bring I've got like a little LED light that goes on top of the camera, which is really handy. I forgot to bring that with me, so it's actually quite handy that these lantern lights are so good. So even though the lantern itself took up a bit more space, I guess it saved me the space on the light that I have specifically for the camera. But another thing I forgot to bring with me is the pea pot as well, which is frustrating because it means that every time I wake up in the night to go to the toilet, I'm going to have to get up out of the tent now. Because I drink a lot of water. I'm really anal about being dehydrated. I hate it. So I'm just constantly sipping water. So that then leads to me getting up during the night a good 2 times every night, having to go. So it does disrupt your sleep a bit, but I just, at the same time, I can't get to sleep if I feel dehydrated. So when I'm at home, I've got, you know, a big cup of water next to the bed. I'm constantly sipping until I fall asleep. Out here, I'll be sipping from my water bottle till I fall asleep. So there's no way around it, but I swear by drinking a decent amount of water. I think not enough people drink enough water. I don't want to be here lecturing you, but the vast majority of people do not drink anywhere near enough water as they should do, and it's so important. You know, I never go anywhere without a bottle of water with me. In my car, I keep spare bottles of water that I, you know, change out every few weeks just to try and keep it fresh, just as emergency bottles. You know, I take a bottle in there with me so I have the fresh water, because there's some worry that if the water's in the car it can leach chemicals from the bottles or whatever. I understand that, but just for emergencies, you know, because I just can't stand to be without it. I'm constantly carrying one around with me. But yeah, it does mean that you end up just constantly going to the toilet, which is annoying, but it's kind of a good thing as well, because you're constantly cleaning your system out. Also, because of the psoriasis, one of the things that the doctors and that tell you is to stay hydrated. That can help to make the psoriasis not quite as bad. Basically, the more dehydrated you are, the more dried out your skin is, the worse the psoriasis will get. This isn't something that I really talk about much or give much information on, but this is the sleeping bag I've got. I've used this for years now. There's information on the side here. Just have to straighten that up. I'll give you a bit of information about it and the temperatures that it can handle. Measurements there. I've never had any trouble with it. I got it as a present, so I have no idea how much it cost. But Ayacucho, never heard of them. Probably going to go to sleep in a bit. It's really mild out here. It's ever so slightly cool a little bit outside the tent, but in the tent, especially with the sleeping bag around me and the shirt on still, I'm on the verge of being hot. So it's, you know, pretty nice weather considering it's pushing mid-September now, I guess. Because we did have some really cool nights a couple of weeks ago where actually it started to get really chilly and start to feel really autumnal. But yeah, lovely again now. So hopefully it'll stay this way until October. bit overcast this morning, which is a shame because I like seeing the light coming through the trees when I wake up. It's always a nice sight in the morning when the sun's shining through the trees, but it's just a bit too grey. Now, one of the other reasons I haven't been on camera as well lately is because I put on weight earlier this year. I had a terrible diet for a while, just so much sugary stuff. I was having like 3 or 4 chocolate mochas a day on top of some biscuits, on top of a bit of cake. Literally straight before bed I would have a bowl of ice cream with a chocolate flake crushed up in it. It was just terrible. And yeah, obviously I put on weight because of that, and at one point I had a pregnant belly. You know, I literally looked like I was pregnant, which was a bit of a wake-up call for me. So I've been dieting quite heavily for the last 2 or 3 months now to try and burn all that off, which also meant that I've sort of lost a bit of muscle mass because I'm just haven't been taking in enough calories, but I'm now starting to take in more calories again, but the right kind of calories and not so much sweet stuff. So I'm just terrible with sweet stuff. I can't control myself. It just escalates. You know, I'll have a good diet and then I'll think, oh well, it won't hurt to have just a bit of cake here or a chocolate bar there, and then as soon as I get that taste again, it just escalates and gets to the point where, you know, I'm back to eating sugar every hour or 2 a day. It's just ridiculous. I can't control myself with it, but there you go. Now with my camera, I did get another camera earlier this year, which had autofocus on it. 'Cause one of the things that always annoyed me about my camera I used to use is that I had to focus it manually once I was filming. It wouldn't sort of autofocus as it was filming. So I got this camera that does do that, but it was 10 times worse because it would constantly autofocus. It wouldn't just focus and then stay on it. Like, all I had to do was move ever so slightly and it would start autofocusing again. It would go in and out of focus before it would actually get in focus. And on top of that, the focus itself was really noisy. Like, when it was focusing, you could literally hear it going. So the whole video would have just been it going blurry, clear, blurry, clear. So it just terrible. It was no way I could make a video out of that. It would have been awful. So yeah, but I've sorted the camera issue out now, so not really a problem anymore. But I had, you know, a lot of stress earlier this year with money. I mean, it's completely fine now. I'm actually doing pretty well now, but earlier this year I was pretty skint, so I couldn't really afford a new camera. The stress of that was what brought on the psoriasis and me eating more, I think, as well. So, you know, bit of a year, but everything seems fine now, fingers crossed. Start packing stuff away now. And the thing about having moss everywhere is I can use it to clean up my pots and pans and things just before I put them away. Saves me messing up the inside of the packs and things they all go in. Good little kettle, that. Only just noticed this, but there's looks like someone's had a fire here. There's some burnt ground and burnt wood there, some broken glass and stuff. Don't know when that would have been, but not far from where I'm camping, so I guess other people have used this spot as well. Alright, that's pretty much everything packed away now except for the camera, so I'm going to get off. Hopefully I'll be doing some more camping videos in the next few weeks or month or so. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Who's had the Mr. T bed sheets out here? I think it's a duvet cover. Yeah, it's a duvet cover. But it's Mr. T. I mean, that's got to be from the 80s or something that's been out here since. Definitely Mr. T. I wonder who the hell had this out here. Yeah. Mr. T. What kind of crazy fool would throw the Mr. T bed sheets away?